Been a busy couple of months for Representative Ryan Martinez. Good to have you.
Hey, nice to be here. Always excited to come be on the hot seat and stand up instead of sitting in a seat.
Yeah, so, Coach Switzer's the first one who pointed that out, by the way. All right, so earlier this year, you became the vice chair of Appropriation and Budget Committee.
That's right.
And then recently, the speaker came to you and asked you to head up a committee to look into this tourism situation. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, we had another committee looking into tourism, and also you have subpoena power on this. So let's just start with the nuts and bolts. Why did the speaker come to you? What does he want out of this committee, and where's it headed?
Yeah, so you know, the speaker, Charles McCall, came to me and said, Ryan, you know, it's clear that there's a problem here, and something happened. Now, it's not our role to decide if something criminal happened. There are very capable prosecutors and investigators that'll handling that aspect of this investigation. What our role is to see what structural problems exist within that agency and with the way that, you know, state dollars are spent, and what laws and what guardrails need to be put in place to make sure something like this never happens again. So that's really our focus, is to see what structurally happened and how something like this was even able to happen.
When you do this, and I remember watching those, they were televised. Yeah. I think Representative Josh Cockcroft was the one who had to do it last time. What happens whenever you come with recommendations? Because obviously that was a different administration, but 2 administrations, 2 controversies with tourism, and we're still here. Yeah,
so I actually had the opportunity to serve on that committee the first time as well as a member, and we were looking at the health department pretty deeply. So, you know, what I perceive happening at the end of this investigation and question period is this committee will come up with a report. What I said from the beginning is we will have very actionable items, and those will probably take the form of legislation. So, you know, obviously the power that the legislature has is the ability to change laws, but also we have the power of the purse. So we need to make sure that we are building a system where every time we appropriate a dollar, that it's transparent, it's accountable, and that for anybody that wishes to use or abuse taxpayers' dollars, that is made very hard and difficult, and something that we will notice immediately.
Okay, from what I can tell, everybody's lawyered up. The state's got a lawsuit going. Yeah. I'm sure that Swadley's is going to have counsel. So you're going to have a lot of this situation going on. Yeah. You know these committees, you'll ask questions, they'll go, well, you know, we're in the middle of litigation, so we really can't talk about this. How can you get all the information you need and use that subpoena? Yeah, so we have the subpoena power.
Earlier this week, we issued the first 2 subpoenas in our investigation. That is something that I think we are going to have to use to get documents to see what those conversations look like behind the scenes. I do hope, and I am encouraged, and I think that the executive branch wants to be transparent, and I hope that they want to work with us to get to the bottom of this and to help make sure that this can never happen again. So with the willingness of the executive branch to share documents and ideas and exactly what happened, I think that we could get this done and we'll better serve the taxpayers of Oklahoma.
Have you, if you can, have you talked to the executive branch? Have you talked to representatives from Swadley's thus far?
You know, so not quite yet. You know, I mean, I have had all conversations early on when some of this started breaking after the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency first broke this story. You know, that office was created to have oversight of agencies to see where taxpayer dollars are going, and they accomplished that. They were the ones that discovered this. The conversations kind of happened with the executive branch after that. They haven't reached out to me recently, but I do think that those conversations will happen, and at some point, it would probably be beneficial to hear from some people in the executive branch about exactly what their story is and what happened with those dollars.
All right, got about 30 seconds. Okay. Where do we go from here? Are you going to get much done before the session ends?
Yeah, so, you know, as I mentioned, we issued the first subpoenas yesterday. We had a good organizational meeting with the committee. This committee functions a little bit differently than the traditional committee, so the members and myself got together and we talked about what the processes were going to be. Also, there's a new wrinkle to this. We actually have a few whistleblowers reaching out that want to remain anonymous, and that's something that I'm going to honor. We're going to do everything we can to protect those people's identities if they want to come share information about this. Our first official meeting is scheduled for Thursday of next week. So we're getting right into it. We're not wasting any time. We're going to continue working through the interim, but it's time to get to work, and the taxpayers deserve to know exactly what happened at tourism.
If that last little bit didn't get you interested in this, I don't know what would. Yeah. Representative Ryan Martinez,
I appreciate you.
Good luck moving forward on this.
Thank you very much.
See this again at news9.com/airboatcounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.